Hari Om. Everyone. So the first 5 verses of the 12th chapter, which we just concluded, the 5th verse the last week, talks about the form and the formless worship. Whether do you consider to connect with God with a form or without a form? Answer is simple. It depends on your capacity. There's nobody to decide or define for you what should be the form of your worship. If you have the capacity to identify the God as a formless reality, you should certainly attune to the formless. But if you find difficulty to relate to God without a form, you need to attune to some form to relate to the God. So whether you need saguna or nirguna is up to your capacity. So if you are spiritually evolved, you will be able to relate to God without a form. If you are not that evolved, you will need a form. So in the 5th verse, Arjuna is being told that it is difficult to set your mind on the unmanifest. Therefore, I recommend you to worship the God with a form. Worship the manifest. It's difficult to relate to God, the unmanifest. And the concept we learned, beautiful example of the unmanifest is just like butter pervades milk. Remember the example, a classic example in the Shastras given. The God pervades the world just like butter pervades every droplet of milk. All right, so we'll move on to the second topic. We will chant verses 6 and 7 together. We'll chant once, please. Ye tu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate teshamaham samuddharta mrityu samsara sagara bhavami nachirat partha maya veshita chetasam. Now the reason these 2 verses are chanted together is there's a continuity of thought flow. I read the translation first and then I explain. By those who worship me, renouncing all actions in me, regarding me as the supreme, meditating on me with single-pointed yoga, Mam dhyayanta upasate, those who worship me with single-pointed yoga, for those whose minds are set on me, I become along. Na chirat partha. Chirat means along, means very easy, not that long. The deliverer from the ocean of death-bound samsara, the mundane existence. So, the second topic, just push the flap down. Yeah. The second topic, progressive ways to reach God, verses 6 to 11. In verses 6 and 7, he is giving progressive steps towards enlightenment. 6 to 7 giving progressive steps towards enlightenment. In the 8th verse, he gives the highest spiritual discipline, which is meditation. In the 9th and 10th verse, he steps down for those who can't follow the verse 8. And the 11th verse, he gives the most basic sadhana. So 6 and 7, He's giving the progressive steps towards enlightenment. So this is the 6 and 7 we chanted together just now. By those who worship me, renouncing all actions in me, regarding me as a supreme. Now the word me here means the self. It doesn't mean the personality. It does not mean Mr. Krishna here. Throughout the Shastras, whenever they use the first person singular pronoun, it means the Atman, the self. So, those who worship me refers to Bhakti Yoga. Renouncing all actions me refers to Karma Yoga. Regarding me as a supreme refers to Jnana Yoga. So, the three parts, the Karma Yoga, the Bhakti Yoga, and the Jnana Yoga, the three spiritual parts are the three main highways to spiritual evolution. There is no other path beyond this. There are so many yogas that are floating in the market today, far more popular than the original works. So don't sell yourself to Kundalini Yoga, that yoga, this yoga. Many yogas are coming in. Hatha Yoga, hot yoga, this yoga, all sorts of yogas. What? There was some. Why are you laughing? I'm not joking. There is I can't recall his name. He's Bikash, is it? Or fellow who got very famous teaching yoga. You would know, Srinivas. Ever have been? US. What is his name? Bikash something, no? Hot yoga he was teaching. He used to, Vikram Yoga, there you go. Vikram Yoga. And this guy, he used to teach yoga. It's all physical. Yoga has become mere physical exercises. It is not physical exercise alone. But he used to teach yoga to every who's who used to go to him. And then he got into trouble because he started abusing his students. And then he got into prison. I think he's in prison now. For lifetime he's in prison. So people sell themselves to all sorts of practices. It's very important as a practitioner. It is important. I can sell anything to you. It's important for you to be mindful whether it is sticking to the authority, whether it is supported by the Shastras, by the scriptures. And the Shastras are complete textbooks. They have reached the pinnacle of perfection. They have given out the highest truth. Their presentation and realization is complete. You and I cannot add to it. We can only at best represent it in a contemporary thought and language, because the knowledge was presented to them in their thought and language at that era. So if somebody were to come out and give a new version to the truth, an abridged version of the truth, it is easier to fall a prey. You get a greater following with the abridged version, but the original works are lost. So today hardly anybody mentions of the three main spiritual highways, which are the karma, bhakti, jnanam. Now, why would you say only three parts? There are three parts because as a human being, you have got three personalities. We have got a physical personality, an emotional personality, an intellectual personality. We have got a body, mind, and intellect. So three parts prescribed for three equipments. So when, in fact, last week I said, answering the question, if you use your equipments of your body, mind, and intellect to purify yourself, it becomes yoga. But when you use the equipments to acquire wealth, it becomes materialistic, it becomes mundane. The example we gave was, why are you laughing? At least that example you don't forget, no? You may forget me, but the example you will not forget. What's the example we gave? Huh? We rally the restaurant. What's that? A nice excuse you got. Rally the last week. విన్నారు కదా చెప్పండి. అయ్యన్ బార్ కాదు, మళ్ళీ వినండి. Example of the drainage system. విన్నారు కదా drainage. The system is meant to flush out impurities. Similarly, the physical body, mind and intellect must be used as an avenue or a means to get rid of the impurities of the vasanas or desires. So the three parts, the karma, bhakti and jnanam, are the three parts for your primary purpose to burn your vasanas and desires. So the karma, bhakti and jnanam, the three yogas are a means to burn your vasanas and desires. So you cannot burn your vasanas and desires without the three yogas. Please understand that. I don't know about you all, but I am feeling very warm. Namaskar. No, let's see. We'll try to manage if I can. So each yoga, now when we say each yoga, everybody has a combination of every human being has three personalities. Because as a human, you have to be born with all the three. What are the three personalities you're born with? Your body, mind, and intellect. That's all right. But one of the first spiritual steps you have to find out, the first essential spiritual step is to find out what is your proportion. And what differentiates you from me is the proportion of these three personalities. What is your physical quotient? What is your mental quotient? What is your intellectual quotient? Based on your percentage of these three personalities, you must give adequate exposure to that particular path. So if you are predominantly emotional, you take bhakti yoga. You're predominantly intellectual, you take jnana yoga. If there's a balance of the two, you take karma yoga. So when there is a balance of your head and heart, you take karma, action. When there's a predominance of mind, you take bhakti. When the predominance of intellect, you take jnanam. Now, how much of it is there in you? Do you know? People just plunge into it, unknowing, unaware that it is it's a calibration. Even in engineering, any aspect of engineering of any machinery, if you want optimum output, it is all fine-tuning, isn't it? Even you buy a brand new vehicle, it may not give you optimum fuel efficiency until it goes to the first service. They say first run the engine, so you will not get any mileage. They say you please bring the vehicle at the due service, and what we do? We do nothing, sir. We just fine-tune it. We fine-tune the RPM, we just, whatever adjustments they got to do, all that fine-tune adjustment brings about the optimum efficiency and production. Exactly the same way, if you don't proportion the three yogas to your personality, you will not grow. The growth is not commensurate to the effort. Even if you want to bring about a physical transformation, if I want to build my physique, I can't just randomly go into a gymnasium and start exercising, can I? It's a science, it's an art. Whether you want to do your upper body or lower body, how much weights you use, or how much cardio you do, what intake of food you take, everything is calculated. If your physical body transformation is a science, Spiritual transformation is a transformation of your mind and intellect. It is far more scientific than what medicine or science deals with. Now, next point is, each yoga has a specific role. I am mentioning, I am not explaining because it's a subject matter deep by itself. As the verse is talking, I am just mentioning. Karma Yoga deals with the quantity of your vasanas. I'll explain what Karma Yoga is, but briefly I'll explain. Karma Yoga deals with the quantity. Bhakti Yoga deals with the quality of your vasanas, and Jnana Yoga changes the direction of your vasanas. So the three specific roles, and since you have all three yogas in you, you will be performing karma, bhakti, and jnana. Are you all with me? Now, what is karma yoga? Karma yoga, as we say, it is the path of action. What is karma action? Yoga is when you unite or identify with a common cause. What is the common cause you can identify with? That you got to find out. A common cause or a goal or an ideal that you can identify with, where you can direct your actions. Thereafter, all your actions are dedicated with a spirit of service and sacrifice. Thereafter, you don't hold back your actions. You give all that you have towards the attainment of the goal. Now, higher is the goal, higher is the cause, greater is the motivation, greater is inspiration. No goal, the opposite of a common cause is self-centered, selfish purposes. So when you work with a spirit of Karma Yoga, what happens is, the result is, it crushes your ego and destroys your egocentric desires. So the result of karma is to burn your ego and your egocentric desires. And that's what, when you identify with a common cause, the opposite of it is when you start giving into your desire, you feed your ego, you run behind your mind's selfish purposes, I and my. That is anti-karma yoga. So when you act, at every point, you ask yourself, for what am I working? For what am I working will give you clarity of the cause. In brief, this is Karma Yoga. No, you have at least cross ventilation. Here I'm in a, like in a cocoon here. I'm like a furnace here. Never mind. So the second is Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion, where you engage your mind. So the natural tendency of the mind is it develops attachment to various things in the world. That is the job of the mind. And when you pour water on the ground, where does it go? Goes? I didn't say soil. When you pour water on the ground, where will it go? Where does it spread? Where does it go? It goes to lower areas. And the last week example, when we took of the mind, we said the mind is like the milk, which is flowed all over. So the natural tendency of the mind is to develop an attachment to the lower. So you have developed attachment to all that you have possessed. Isn't it? So what is Bhakti Yoga? The path of devotion. So what does this yoga do is change the quality of your vasanas. So it is, the mind is directed to the higher. What is the higher? The highest is when you say what is bhakti, is to have love for God. So if you have that love or identification with God, what happens automatically to that extent, your mind is withdrawn from all the worldly attachments. There is no more attachment for the world. So it changes the character of the emotion from selfish to unselfish, from ignoble to noble, from gross to subtle, from worldly to transcendental. Now, all three yogas do all the same thing, though it has a predominant influence of changing the quality or character of emotion. But what happens is the job of yoga is to plant your mind onto the higher. That's the job of yoga. So when I use my mind to think of the higher, it's called bhakti yoga. When I use action to think of the higher, it's called karma yoga. Now when I use my intellect, jnana yoga is the path of knowledge. And one of the best definitions of jnanam is not mere erudition, it's not mere scholarship, it's not merely trying to impress somebody with your thoughts and ideas. But jnanam, the real jnanam, is the capacity to differentiate, a distinction. So what do you distinguish between nitya and anitya? So you need to have that viveka. Viveka is the distinction between nitya, which is real, anitya, unreal, and then vicharam. Vicharam is contemplation. So you're constantly contemplating on the distinction between the real and unreal. That is the real sign of wisdom. That's the real sign of jnanam. You may use the shastras, we may be intellectually tapping the scriptures, but the effect of jnanam is this. So when you do all this, what happens? Again, jnana yoga, the world does, it displaces worldly thoughts with higher thoughts. Whatever thoughts you have of the world, of the anitya, become nitya. So in the sixth verse, he's saying, he who is able to practice this karma, bhakti, jnanam. So when you perform karma, bhakti, jnanam, what is the result? What is the result of performing karma, bhakti, jnanam? What happens? Huh? What do you mean purification? The your mind gets purified from all the mala, which is the vasanas and desires. So when the mind is freed from the worldly attachments, from selfishness, what happens? The mind becomes focused towards the higher. Naturally, the mind becomes available for higher focus and higher concentration. Therefore, these three practices are recommended as a prerequisite for meditation. So if you don't, in fact, they say majority of your spiritual sadhana consumes karma bhakti jnanam. So I would say 90% of your spiritual sadhana is this karma bhakti jnanam. Standard question I get asked, do you meditate? My answer is no. They don't understand that because they are meditating and you seem to be more spiritual than us and you don't meditate. I said, I'm unfit to meditate. They don't come back to me. In a way, everybody wants to plunge into meditation. The Shastras, even in this verse, the entire 6th chapter, it talks of meditation there, Dhyana Yoga. And even in that chapter, he doesn't talk of meditation until he spells out all the prerequisites. Okay? Of what? Clarity and direction? I didn't get you. What are you asking, ma? Ask, what is it you're asking? Use the mic. By doing all this, you gain clarity. Yes, in fact, when your mind is full of desires, you don't have sight of the goal because you are distracted with many other things, in worldly things. So it's actually one transcendental desire vis-a-vis innumerable worldly desires. That is the contrast. That's the combination you're dealing with. So one transcendental desire, the desire to reach the self vis-a-vis all other worldly temptation distractions. So only when your mind gets liberated from all these worldly distractions, that is when you can gain clarity of the goal. That is when your actions become consistent towards the goal. Therefore, instead of trying to keep your mind on meditation or trying to concentrate on the goal, they say make your mind worthy to meditate. Because once a mind which is meditative worthy, it automatically meditates. So your mind, the goal becomes clearer, your actions become, in fact, as you start evolving, what is the concept of yoga? Yoga is union with the self, right? So when you get involved in the karma bhakti jnanam, what happens is the goal becomes clearer and vivider as you keep progressing. It's like you're getting closer to your destination. What is the destination? What is God? As if you know the God you're telling. What is God? How do you describe the goal? How is God described in the context? Huh? None of it we know. Omnipresent, omnipotent, all are very good to talk, but we don't understand what it means. Very good definition. All high-flown terms. But we don't understand what they are. How do we describe God here? How do we describe the goal here? Again, self-realization, another term. Is self-realization not another term for God realization? Huh? Sorry, sir? Unknown? Indeed, but how do you describe it? How do you describe getting closer to the goal? What is the goal here? Ama. But how do you describe it? Vijayji, sorry, you have to change the color of your hand. It is lost in your background.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you for letting me know. So, I had a question about the meditation part. If you are not worthy of meditation, so we are totally lost then, no?
Who am I to say whether you are qualified or not? When people ask me, do I meditate? I said, I am not qualified. I don't talk of myself. I don't sit in judgment where you all are. So let me not waste my time in that. There are people out there who will teach you. There are people out there who will vouchsafe on that. There are people out there who will give their lives for it. Go for them. I am not an advocate of meditation because I will stick to the Shastras. Will not commit that cardinal sin by violating what the Shastras have said. It's criminal.
Where does it say that meditation is doing meditation till you have not yet burnt all your vasanas is a sin? Which Shastra says that?
Right now, the Shastra we're reading is saying, the mantra 6 is saying, play back the translation. The order with which meditation is given, he says, for those who worship, renounce, and regard me as supreme. Then he talks of meditating only with single pointed yoga. You can't do single pointed yoga without doing karma bhakti jnanam, which is what we have translated here, which is what the verse is talking. And then once your mind is set on me, I become long. For a mind who is able to practice single pointed yoga, for such a mind, it is very easy to get to meditation or realization. You know, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, if I'm not wrong, he says, how long does it take for a needle to penetrate a rose petal? What are you asking, sir? The moment you put the needle on the petal, it's already pierced through it. It will take that long to realize. How long? Nachirena, he says, very, very easily you attain the self, but very easy for whom? Mind which is qualified, for a mind which is prepared, for a mind which is introverted, for a mind which is ready to meditate. An ill-prepared mind, a mind which is not ready to meditate, it will take aneka janma. Because you are putting the cart before the horse. It will take you nowhere.
Can't you do it simultaneously?
Please try. It will not work. It will not work. Because the importance is, are you ready for it is the question. Is your mind available to meditate? Is your mind worthy to meditate?
If I have like two thoughts on this. One is the Shastra, that particular verse, it says it's easier to meditate on me once you have undistracted, one-pointed yoga, but it doesn't talk about sin. Number two is To
Can
me,
you be a little
meditation.
louder? Vijayji, can you be a little louder, please?
I'll repeat what I said. So, the verse basically says it's easier to meditate on me when you have one pointed, undistracted yoga. And the second is, it doesn't say anything about it being a sin if you meditate without it being one pointed. So for me, meditation is more like uh, a muscle that yeah, it's a workout. Like you have to build that muscle till you can sit, say, for from 10 minutes to 15 minutes to half an hour to 1 hour, because the mind is sometimes restless. So yes, it's part and parcel of the vasanas where the mind is restless and doesn't allow you to sit for longer periods of time because you're, you could say, distracted. But on some days it's easier to meditate because you're not distracted. On some days it's not easy to meditate because you're distracted. So but if you have a discipline that you're doing it every day, then it becomes part and parcel of your being. No, it allows you to monitor your thoughts and not engage in every single thought that comes to your mind. It gives you that practice, right?
Sir, as long as there is traffic of thoughts in your mind, one cannot meditate. And please don't use meditation as a means to reduce the traffic of thoughts. Meditation is not a means to calm the mind. In fact, a calm and a matured mind meditates. It's the other way around. The more mature, the more calm, the more introverted you are, you will naturally meditate. All of us are introverted to some extent. To that extent, you will contemplate. To that extent, you meditate. Beyond that, you cannot force it. The standard argument the meditative gurus say, abhyasa, practice, practice. By practice, you will become perfect. You cannot mend the mind until the root is uprooted. The root uprooted is the vasanas. As long as your vasanas and attachments, your mind will be preoccupied with the world. So a mind which is preoccupied is not ready for contemplation, is not ready for meditation. Therefore, the Shastras say, first deal with the vasanas, for which they are given the three practices. This is what the Shastras say. Now, you can go back and forth, plunge into the Shastras and verify the truth. It's not, I am not claiming. So it's nothing for you to agree or disagree with me. Please. It is not to be on my side or not other side. It is what the Shastras are saying. I am trying to present what is my read of the Shastras or my take of the Shastras. You may disagree with me, that's fine. But if you feel you are able to meditate, you can meditate, please continue. But I am only making a general statement. If you ask me, the Shastras are talking this. The rest of the world may practice something else. That's all right. In fact, I'll have to break my head to teach the Shastras to you. I don't have to break my head to teach meditation. 34 years, I'm a full-time spiritual practitioner. It's not a short time. I know what I'm talking. It's difficult to teach this text to you. It is not difficult to teach meditation. One of the easiest things to teach is meditation. Tell those people who are proponents for meditation, tell them to teach the Shastras. I'm not trying to compare chalk and cheese here. Why is meditation flourishing? Because it's easy to teach. Also, why it's flourishing? Because it has an immediate effect. To a mind which is agitated, when it sits quietly, it has an appeasing effect. It has an aura, but that aura is temporary, sir. It will not last.
I
Though
I
it is
know.
the word meditation is being borrowed and many other relaxation techniques are being marketed on that name. I am using meditation in the very purest, authentic sense, how it is meant and what it conveys, which is that ananyachinta, single pointed concentration. And that should be almost effortless. The moment you're putting in an effort, I'm not ready for it. The moment there's a struggle to keep the mind focused, I'm not ready for it. So if a singer takes onto that stage, and if she's struggling to sing a raga or a kirtana, that means that there's under preparation, isn't it? And Amma is sitting there, she's an authority on that. If the singer takes the stage and the fact that she gets on to the correct tune and the pitch and gets into the raga and effortlessly sings, that effortless performance only indicates the preparation and the amount of effort, the abhyasa that person has done to be able to do that effortless practice or performance. So if the mind can practice effortless meditation, means you are ready to meditate. If you are struggling to meditate, that means you're not ready. There shouldn't be any struggle.
I've always wondered why people meditate for years and years, but yet when in day-to-day life, agitation comes very easily.
Can you
And
increase volume in the hall?
so those people that have been meditating for 10, 20, 30 years, you would think that they have control of their mind and they would be more peaceful, more calm, being able to control their emotions. But it doesn't work that way. So I see the truth behind the vasanas having to be burned before you can be primed for meditation. My only concern is, at what point do you know that you've burnt enough of your vasanas to know that I'm now primed for meditate? It's
Like,
like you said, the effort. If it's an effort, then it's they're not ready, basically.
you are asking, sir, when will I know I'm ready to meditate, right? I invite you to my house and a full spread buffet of sumptuous food is there. And your concern to me is, sir, I really thank you for the invitation and the company. I love the food which you spread you have given to me. When should I know when to stop eating? My answer would be, start eating, you will know when to stop eating. You would know. Similarly, when you are ready to meditate, nobody has to tell you to meditate. You will automatically, one of the qualities they say, in fact, you will have so many qualities that start surfacing, exhibiting the traits of an introverted person. You will lose the charm for the world. You will be disinterested in the worldly pursuits. You will develop utmost detachment to everything that comes your way. You will have a distaste for crowd. You will want to be a loner. You will become automatically contemplative. You will become introverted, you will become meditative. And once you reach that point, and as you reach that stage, you would know. You don't need anybody to tell you to meditate. You will automatically start withdrawing into that inner sanctuary where you become very introspective, very reflective, very contemplative.
But you're describing all the qualities that you already have, so you should be able to be primed for meditation, right?
I am not at that stage, sir. I am confessing, and yet you people are pounding that thought on me. I don't know why.
Because we see those qualities in you. That's why you're confused.
Ask my wife, she says she's the other side of me. No, it is a natural progression. I'm obviously, I agree with you. I'm not the person who I was. I've changed, I've transformed. But I must say, your focus must be to deal with the vasanas. If your accent is not to cleanse yourself of the impurities of the vasanas or the desires, you will not be able to meditate. I will write it on the walls.
Thank you.
People see it or not, it's for them to deal with it. The truth is said. If you can't see it, I can't help you see it. No, sir, meditation helps. Please carry on. I am not to differ with your perceptions. I am here to present the truth. Huh? You can do what you want. You can say, I disagree with you and walk out also. You're most welcome. You can do what you want. The problem is each one has their versions of the truth. Please put aside your perception and for once try and read what the Shastra is saying. And it's not once, it can't be a coincidence that throughout the Shastras and the entire scriptures are saying the same thing. The problem is enough justice is not done to it. That's the reason it's not heard or not known or not accepted. Yes, sir.
I feel that the confusion comes because we use the same term for two different things. This term meditation we use loosely to describe two different things. The meditation that is commonly prevalent is an input into a process. The meditation you are talking about, or Lord Krishna is talking about here, is an output of a process. Ideally, we should use two different terms for these two. But unfortunately, we use the same term and get confused. So the way meditation is being used today is to calm the mind.
Yes.
Which is for an agitated world that is easy to able to temporarily put the mind to rest. But meditation Krishna is talking about here is that, and he says, renouncing all actions regarding me as supreme, and all that you do, all that vasanas, desires, all that, that is a process for which the current meditation is only an input. But if you do all those things, you will reach that meditation, which is the output of this whole process. And that will ask to jump from there. I think we have to just give two different terms, I think, perhaps.
We will not change.
No, we need not change. I'm saying the way meditation is being sold, that different term has to be used.
Because Shastras have given the truth. The modern gurus are trying to bring their versions of the truth. The Shastras are not going to change. They have given the truth and they are the authority. The Vedas are the authority, whether you're following them or not. So the modern gurus don't follow the Vedas. They say, I am the authority, take it from me. In fact, the modern gurus have the arrogance to say, I have not read the scriptures. I have not done this. I have experienced this. In fact, they go to the extent that I am a self-realized fellow. Look at the audacity. No self-realized person will ever say he is realized. The moment he says he is number one fraud. Number one fraud. I have been with my guru for over 35 years. I can't recall him claiming a day that he is realized. Now, what I have an opinion of my guru is another thing. Whether the guru claims, every disciple will say, oh, my guru is realized. That is attachment of infatuation of a student towards his guru. A time may come where you also will start saying, my guru is realized. You may say what do you want, I know. Like Vijay is saying, I think you are ready to meditate. He is very sure. I am saying I am not, but he is saying I am not, I am more than ready to meditate. So no man of realization will say so. So there is, the point what we are trying to make is there is a paradigm shift from the authorities. The current spiritual practices are being compromised just to give quick fixes to the ill-prepared mind. How many of them will listen to the pure Carnatic music today, ma? A small percentage of music lovers will only appreciate this. Majority of music lovers will want the abridged version of the original works. Now, whether I want to cater to the pure Carnatic music, or I bring abridged version and sell it. The moment you compromise it, they are followers. So, is to be true to the text by the term. As rightly said, they are borrowing the term meditation and marketing it to a mind which is very ready for it, which is some relaxation techniques are being marketed, in some practices they are marketing, and they have a following. Why is there a following? Because the current mind is terribly agitated and it desperately wants some peace of mind, and this serves a ready capsule just to calm. Minds are in a chaotic state, disturbed state. The problem is when you, it's like saying, I am very agitated, let me have a peg. Let me have a little drug. First step to calm the mind. Can I say that? Take a few pegs that I'm in my own world, that I don't even know what problems I've got. I am in a heavenly state. Best way of solving problem. Can you say that? Oh, just give a few pegs once in a while. That's what you are suggesting. You can't. It's like, if I imagine you all walk into this hall and you start saying, sir, the hall is stinking. Something is not right. I start bringing air fresheners and perfumes and start spraying all over, and I'll spray on you also. Something wrong with you. Did you have a bath? You didn't have a bath and you're blaming me. I spray on you also. How long will it work, sir? A few minutes. Again, the stench, the smell comes. And then when you all start complaining, then we come to the source. The source is under the stage. There is a huge dead rat decomposing. Obviously, that fellow will smell rotting flesh, volatile smell. The moment I get to the source and remove that rotting animal, a mammala, rat, the rotting rat. I don't need any perfumes. I don't need any quick fixes. Get to the source of the problem. Now, please understand, what is the reason why the mind is agitated? Vijayji, I ask you, sir, come back to you again. Okay, please hold on. Venkatamji, can you give me, are you there?
Yes, Guruji. I have some connection problem, so yeah. Yes, I am there.
Oh, I don't know you are there. I need to see you.
No, I had some connection problem, so that is why I was, muting this video. Yeah.
Now tell me, why is the mind agitated, sir?
Mind is agitated because we are always worried about the future, what will happen next.
Agitation.
Yeah, mind is always agitated, thinking about the future and what is in store for us. And also mind is agitated because of, again, a reason of multiple attachments, what we have and what would happen. So, I mean, we constantly keep thinking of that. So that is what I feel the mind gets agitated over multiple things, which.
Can you give me one reason why mind is agitated?
The only reason is worrying about the future. That is one point from my side.
Worry of the future. All right.
Yes.
Why is the mind agitated? Use the mic, please. It's on.
So, inability to come to terms with reality.
Inability to come to terms with reality. What do you mean by that?
So, your expectation is something while what happens is something else.
Perfect. Is it not right, Venkaji? When the mind is agitated because of unfulfilled desires.
Yeah. Yes.
When your mind's desires and expectations are not met, it gets agitated. There is no other reason but this.
Yeah.
Now, Vijayji, please note the The theorem. The theorem is more desires. Piranaba, what's your name? Sorry? Huh? Hari, correct. So the more desires you have, what will be the effect? Correct. More agitated means? Correct? Less desires means? Vijayji, work with this theorem. So when your mind has these desires, you will be agitated. And to the extent you are agitated, you are not fit to contemplate, not fit to meditate. So if you want to contemplate or meditate, you must keep your mind peaceful. When is the mind peaceful? When your desires are less. Now, how to get rid of desires? Go back to the drawing board. Karma Bhakti Jnanam.
I totally agree, but it couldn't also be said that when the mind is peaceful, you are able to meditate. So if it's like, for example, in the morning, first thing, 4:30 in the morning, you have no thoughts, no desires, no plans of the future, to do tasks or anything like that. You are in a space to meditate.
Now, you are not doing enough to uproot the vasanas or desires. When you say vasanas are not there, at that moment the vasanas are asleep.
Correct.
When they wake up, what happens to you?
You get agitated.
You woke up at 4 o'clock, but the vasanas will wake up at 8 o'clock. What happens to you after they wake up? I become a Rakshasa because I want so many things running behind the world. I want this, I want that. I haven't got this. I'm running behind chicken without a head. So, whatever sadhana you do, are you addressing the unmanifest vasanas? Or vasana itself is unmanifest desires. Are you addressing them? Unless until you address them, you will not progress. And meditation is not meant to address the vasanas and desires. That's why first slide I showed to explain this. Karma, bhakti, jnanam are meant to take care of your vasanas and desires, not meditation. So any amount of that practice will not take care of the root. So the vasanas will remain. This is not being bombarded. This is not being told scientifically. This is not being emphasized. So easily we slip into that. It is easy to slip into that, but you're cautioned not to get into that. But once you're ready, you automatically do it. Don't worry of that. So the time and again, you've got to get back to purifying your personality.
When Lord Buddha was on earth and his monks were giving the training of meditation, everyone had to go through these 5 hindrances, like I posted on the group chat. But as they went along, they also did their meditation and they were working towards purifying their vasanas simultaneously. They were not choosing to not do meditation and just burn the vasanas and then switch to meditation. Their path was different.
Don't do what others did. Don't follow the lifestyle of a personality or a guru. What they did may be more relevant to them. may not be applicable to you. There is no, as I've said in the very beginning, what is your proportion? That's important. See, I will give you I've drawn this diagram before and I'll mention it again. The entire spiritual path is this. Whatever be the proportion of the three yogas, when you perform the karma, bhakti, jnanam, all these people will reach a point known as uparati. The word uparati means, what does uparati mean? Any idea? You all seeing the diagram as if I'm talking for the first time. Ushama, so many times I've drawn this diagram. And first time చూసినట్టు చూస్తున్నారు మీరు? Don't remember. What is uparati? Uparati is known as mental withdrawal from the world. It is not physical withdrawal, it is mental withdrawal. You are very much in the world, but you are not interested in the world. You don't have to run away from the world. Why will you run away? You are not interested. Nothing, the world doesn't fascinate you. This is, after you do that, you come here. Then comes the state of dharana. What is dharana? It is known as an open-eyed meditation. Then comes dhyana, which is actual meditation. And then comes a state of self-realization. So, this is 90%. When you do the karma bhakti jnana, 90% of a sadhana, then you come to a point. So the last 10% of a sadhana is this. And don't bargain with me the percentage. We are very good at bargaining. No bargaining, please. I restrict 90%, 10%. So one can start this janma at a very high percentage. That's possible. You have done all the purva karma, so this janma you are starting very high. That's possible. Oh, no, I'm not supposed to meditate. No, you have done the purva karma that you are already meditative. Carry on. So there is a distinct evidence of progression. The distinct evidence of progression is you become an introverted person. An extrovert person will become an introvert person. That you will see, that paradigm shift you will see in your personality. And then the 7th verse he says, then obviously you, in the end of 6th verse he says, meditating on me with single pointed yoga. And then for those minds who are set on meditation, I become along. It doesn't take long thereafter. to realize. So, we say meditation. Swami Ramatirtha, Vijayji, I am with you. I have been with you all the while from the class, the whole class. Swami Ramatirtha, he openly says, I wish Christ put in little more effort, he will attain realization. He was stuck at partial realization. Partial realization is when you are doing dhyanam. So Christ got stuck. Today also we are hundreds and thousands are meditating. Are they at the level of Jesus Christ? I wish, he says, he put little more effort, he would have attained total realization. I wonder why he got stuck there. Shastra says one in a generation attains self-realization. If all these people are meditating, we must have an influx of self-realized souls, no? Exodus of self-realized souls. That is not the case. What is happening to all that effort? Effort is sincere, but not at the right point. So it only comes at the penultimate stage. Don't put the cart before the horse. Let it come. See, the world has got a fanatic attachment to the word meditation. It's a very sensitive term. And I can unsettle many people by using the word meditation and talking truth about it. Because you have an attachment to it. I have no problem with that. I'm speaking the truth. I unsettle if I had to keep saying the mere mention of it. It's serious attachment. There's so much to do other than meditation in the spiritual path that they don't talk of. Isn't it? There's so much the Shastras are talking. Then that person, he becomes liberated from the death-bound samsara. What is a death-bound samsara? Anything that we do is death-bound. What do you understand by that? Anything that we do is a death-bound. Huh? It's permanent. It's going to end. So that you will be liberated from that phase of temporary existence. Whatever we do has to come to an end one day. So you will be liberated from that cycle of birth and death, that cycle of temporal, which meets an end. Means you become the permanent, you become the changeless. So 6 and 7, he is giving us the progressive ways to reach God. What are the progressive ways? For what? The 3 yogas are for what? For what? How would you progress towards God? My Krupa. On Erka. Just press and hold it.
These 3 yogas are given to make us progress toward the spiritual enlightenment.
Yes. So when does one progress towards God?
When he practices all these 3.
No, yes. When you practice the karma bhakti jnanam, you progress. What is the indication of progression towards God? Indication is
become more introverted.
you become more introverted, which means
You start contemplating you're attached from the material world.
that's the effect that causes that desires and attachments and vasanas drop.
Burnt. Yeah.
You burn off the
Desires and
attachments. I asked a question earlier. I asked a question to Vijayji, he threw a question at me and he distracted me. Nice psychology you use. Huh? The question I asked was, how would you describe that state of self-realization, God-realization? How to describe the self? The standard definition we have given. Right, Rima? What is the definition of God? She'll know the answer.
God is an unknown entity.
I didn't that from you. What is the description? How do, in the context, okay, what are we discussing in the entire class? What are we discussing about?
That is annihilation of, by doing karma, bhakti, jnana, it is annihilates our vasanas and our, we are available for it.
அங்கிருந்து ஒரு lecture கொடுக்குறாங்க, so I will turn towards you. All the while we are talking about desires, aren't we? Man minus desires equals God. That is self-realization. That is the goal. Sir, how, see again, when these masters have described the goal, you said Sat Chit Ananda. Ha 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 ha. Omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. These are all terms. They do talk of Brahman, but it doesn't give an idea. But what the principle of education? What is the principle of education?
Knowledge is always sought, not taught.
Adiyo ஒரு principle. In the contextual சொல்லுங்க. What is the principle of education, Ramji? When you want to educate somebody, you must always follow this principle. What is the principle? SR, are you there? చెప్పండి రామ్జీ, గుర్తొస్తుందా? What is fundamental principle of education? You want to educate somebody, you must follow this principle, sir.
I forgot, sir.
Okay. Not draw the knowledge. Student should be ready. To a ready student, how do you teach? Annapurnama has rightly said, to move, wonderful Annapurnama, to move from the known to the unknown. If I want to describe something unknown to you, I have to talk in terms what is known to you. If I describe something unknown to you in unknown terms, it will not get you to that unknown. Sir, simple example is given. Let's say if I have to come to your house and your house is unknown to me, and I ask you, sir, how do I get to your place? And I'm coming from another town. You ask me, where are you? How did you come? Oh, I've come by train. Oh, you come, where you got down? I've got down at the Secunderabad railway station. Okay. You know the Secunderabad railway station, I know the railway station because I landed there. Now, your home is unknown to me. So you will start describing me, giving me directions from what is known to me. Isn't it? If you start describing, oh, my house, you will pass by a place called Sangeet Theatre, a very famous cross junction. From there you will come to a point which is called the famous Jubilee bus stop. From there you pass by, you come to a place called Tirumagiri. From there you further go, then you come to my place called X. You get there. Are? Oh, you have given perfect descriptions of landmarks which will lead you to your house, but I do not know Sangeet cross junction. I do not know Jubilee bus stop. I do not know Tirumagiri area. I do not know any of the names. But if I start from where you are, I say, okay, you move from there 200 meters straight. You have a cab. Okay, take this road. At this point, you will reach this destination. You will see this landmark. There will be a church on your right. That will be first landmark. Then you take the left. After going another 500 meters, you will come to a cross section. At that point, you will see this landmark. You will guide me from that point to point, from that point to the point unknown. Then only there's a possibility I'll come home for a meal you invited. Otherwise, I might come to your home for a different day meal. I'll not come to your home at all. See, so the point is, describe the unknown in known terms. The Shastras have followed this principle. The modern gurus don't follow this principle. They just talk of the truth in flowery languages, but they don't talk in known terms. So what happens? The student is left high and dry. If I say Brahman, God is Satchidananda. So you know what Satchidananda means? What does it mean, Solungo? Chapandi? Pass the mic to him, sir. Another few minutes will take.
Something the truth and it is always, I mean, there is happiness. So that the definition is.
I can see a lot of happiness on your face. Is that the same Ananda you're talking about? You're certainly happy. You have a glow on your face. Is it the same Ananda? No, that is ultimate Ananda, sir. Sat is truth, Chit is existence, Ananda is bliss. So what is Brahman? Ultimate truth, ultimate existence, ultimate bliss. Oh. You understand anything I'm describing? We're using words and terms. We can't decipher further from that what that is. So when they say Brahman is man minus desires, you know what desires are. You know what vasanas are. So when you get rid of your vasanas, then you reach God. So as you keep progressing, progressive ways to reach God or progressive steps to reach God is to keep burning off your vasanas. And how do you do that? It's through karma, bhakti, jnana. So if you don't do this, you will not progress towards God, because the lesser the desires, the closer you are to God. The more the desires, the further away you are from God.
How about the material progress without the desires?
Absolutely. So if you ask me, not to impress you, you ask me, do I have a desire to have this place? I have no desire. Yet this existence of this facility is a reality. Operation is a reality. The fact that it is serving is a reality. But if you ask me, do I have a desire to do it? No. I didn't knock at anybody's door and say, please give me this facility. I want to have a place of my own or our own. The foundation should have this and that. No. I have no desire. The fact that I wanted this knowledge is being taught. Somebody realized that he needs a vehicle and instrument to make it happen. It will become a reality. Yesterday I was telling him, you come to a point where you keep doing your karma, nishkama karma, which is selfless work, or try and be as unselfish. If you can't reach that selfless state, you keep doing your part. A point will come when mere sankalpa is enough to take care of it. You don't have to have a desire for it also. It will be very difficult for me to convince you that I don't have a desire for this. Tomorrow this winds up or this place is not available, it doesn't make a difference to me. The work will go on.
That's, can I say that it's a desire, but there is less attachment?
No desire, I'm saying, sir. Right? What, you people are from the union or what? Vijayji? Huh? There's a union being formed silently. I'm saying there is no desire. I didn't have a desire. Am I speaking to Ramji? I did not want it. That's what I'm saying. Everything falls in its place to serve the ultimate objective, which is the ultimate goal. So when you say desire, it has to have a selfish connotation. There is no selfish connotation to a large extent. There is no I and my in the effort that is being put in, is what is being said. You do your part. I was teaching. She has been seeing me for over how many years? 30 years now? Close to 30 years. She's one of my first students. She's been seeing me taking satsang in the very same vicinity when I started in 95, 96. When I come here to Hyderabad, I started lecturing in a Dhyana Mandir. Right behind our ashram here, right there in the Sainik Puri, there's a mandir. I used to go and teach a handful of people. I don't see any difference in me teaching there and me teaching here now. If you ask me to go back and sit there, I will still go and sit and talk there. Believe me, I'll do it. So it's not, as long as you keep doing your part, take out that selfish element in that, work becomes pure and divine. The fact that it is happening, it has happened, is because there is no selfish motive in it. If there is in it, it will get lost. The fact that it is still there is no selfish element. To that extent. So work and progression has got nothing to do with selfishness and ego, sir. That is what Karma Yoga is, no? You were there from the very beginning, isn't it? You saw the first chart. When I perform Karma Yoga with working for a common cause, what is the result of it? It burns your ego and egocentric desires. The fact that I've been serving this cause of wisdom, serving this knowledge, serving this, spreading this higher cause, the effect of that is my egoistic, selfish desires have been burnt. So the moment you light a flame, what happens? Darkness is dispelled. Constantly performing Gita Yajna going on every day, invoking this wisdom, trying to absorb this wisdom. What will be the result of that? To that extent, there is no selfishness. To that extent, there are no attachments. There is no I and my in it. I am not claiming that I have realized, but I am saying I am in the path towards it. So I can assure myself and I can assure you that to the largest possible, there is no selfishness in it. That's what makes the work pure. And my goal is to make it purely selfless as possible. In fact, that is true karma, sir. If you perform action with a selfish desire, is not action. It is impoverished action. It destroys peace of mind, as we said, desires. Okay. So, though you may find that the message is coming out very loud and hard, in fact, it is coming out because the truth which is being said here is being repeated again and again throughout the Shastras. It is for us to align ourselves to these scriptures, to see the message. So we should be humble enough to bow down and receive what is said. You may not accept everything that is said, or you may not outright accept everything that is said, but at least you must receive it and give it time so that you see the truth behind the words. Right? We'll come back and we'll continue. Om Namada Namidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.